Hi everyone, welcome to our introduction meeting on Read Write Inc. Today we'll introduce our phonics program at Greenfield International School to you. For all resources linked to our training today, including sound cards, green words, red words and our booklet, please see our tile page on Schoolbox. Teach a child to read and keep that child reading and we will change everything. This is what we do here at our school. Research shows that children who learn to read early go on to succeed both in school and in life. Today we will explain the program to you, running through some of our resources and expectations at each grade level. Who is Read Write Inc for? Actually, we begin our program right from pre-K with the children completing the program, sometimes at the end of grade 1, with some children finishing up in grade 2. At the moment, we begin by introducing our sounds in pre-K with the children building on those skills as they progress through KG1, KG2 and grade 1. For older students, Read Write Inc does offer a Fresh Start program. This supports children who might be new to English, maybe have English as an additional language, and can support those children joining our school. Currently, we use our program from pre-K to grade 1. Read Write Inc daily lessons. What Read Write Inc does is simple. We teach the children to read using simple sounds, also to write these. The children practice reading and spelling words containing these sounds, as you can see here with our green words, and then we give the children decodable books which they read over 3 days. We read and practice some of these decodable books with comprehension practice, spell checking, proofreading and other activities. In addition to that, we also practice reading books in schools. We have a bank of much loved stories with the children, which we read from our library, and this encourages a love of reading amongst the children, but also allows them to find high frequency words and use their decoding skills within the class. Progress groups. So the children are grouped by their phonics stages. We teach the children in their groups as they progress through the levels. So in the same way that your child is learning to swim or play the violin or learn Taekwondo, when the children has mastered a particular level, they will move on to the next progress group. The children work in these groups for a period during each day, usually up to 1 hour, which means they are learning at their challenge level over the week. This will begin right from KG1 and as they move up through school into grade 1 and as they begin to move off the program. We have reading leaders throughout the school which assess the children and regroup the children every half term or 6 to 8 weeks. This allows the children to move through the phonics stages quite quickly in very focused smaller groups as we use all staff, both teachers and learning assistants, to support. We want to make sure that every child learns to read in school. Some children need a little bit of extra practice when it comes to reading, so we teach these children on a one-to-one basis or in smaller groups through interventions. This is on top of the daily phonics teaching that we do each day. That means that these children have the opportunity to catch up as they may need to make that accelerated progress in their learning. This ensures that no child is left behind. What is phonics? Each word is made up of individual sounds. The children will use their phonics skills to learn how to read and write. So for example, when children begin to learn to read, they say the sounds, blending them together to read the word. For example, at, mat, sh, ip, ship. A grapheme is another word for the letter name. When the children are learning to read, they blend the sounds together to say the word. When they're learning to write, they segment the sounds and write the corresponding grapheme. So for example, write the word dog. D-o-g, dog. The children will say the sound and then write the corresponding grapheme. D, let's write our D sound. The children will write the letter D. This corresponds, the steps in the phonics scheme, to the curriculum expectations for the children. So we're equipping the children with the skills to write simple consonant, vowel consonant words or CVC words, and building up their skill to write polysyllabic words. The English alphabetic code. We have over 44 sounds which make up all words in the English language. This means we have a problem. We have 44 sounds and only 26 letters. The 26 letters work singly. They also work in pairs and sometimes in groups of threes to represent one sound. So for example, we have to group the letters together to make the sound I. I-G-H, I. To make the sound air, we group 3 letters together, A-I-R. In English, we have more than 150 ways to represent the 44 sounds using the 26 letters. to make our language one of the most complex in the world. Read Writing Phonics makes learning to read easy for children because we start by teaching them just one way of reading and writing every sound. Here you can see them all displayed on a speed sound chart. This is displayed in every classroom. We teach set 1 sounds first, sounds as far as A, E, I, O and U, and then we teach the set 2 sounds. This is our way of teaching our long vowel sounds. Sound pronunciation. The children need to know the sounds, not the letter names, in order to read words. We say the sounds in a way to make them easy to blend into words. The aim is to eliminate the at the end of the sound. This is called a schwa. You can see here, for example, if we say the word cat, k, a, t, cat. This is opposed to k, a, t, cat. So certain letters where the children tend to add the sound are f, Try to encourage your child to watch the video above and listen to the sounds and repeat. We do so using my turn, your turn.
These are the set 1 sounds. These are the stretchy sounds. These are the bouncy sounds. B, k, k, d, g, h, j, p, qu, ch, w, x, y, ch, a, e, o, a.
Here you can see our set 3 speed sound chart. So for our children, once they know the set 2 sounds, they start to learn the set 3 sounds. These are different ways to read and spell the set 2 sounds. We do call them set 3 sounds, but actually they are the same as the set 2 sounds, but with a different spelling. We say same sound, different spelling. So for example, you can see my A sound, AY, in the middle of the chart here. You can see there are 3 different variations or spellings to make the same sound. The children will learn all the variations. Once they know all of these sounds, they will be able to read an unfamiliar word. So the children will start by learning to recognize speedy sounds. The children should read the sounds quite speedily, and following this we learn to blend the sounds together to read a word. For example, using Fred the Frog, we will read the word s, a, t, sat. We encourage the children to push the sounds together. Initially, the children will need a little support doing this, but with repeated practice, the children will increase their fluency and speed in reading simple words. Let me introduce Fred the Frog. So Fred the Frog knows his sounds but doesn't know his words. So for example, when Fred speaks in sounds, he might say the word ch, I, p. The children will repeat the sounds ch, I, p and push them together to say the word chip. D, a, d, dad. K, a, t, cat. The children will increase in speed when they are doing this, and once the children have secured this skill to orally blend sounds together to make a word, this will support them in quickly reading and writing CVC words. We practice blending orally so that children find word reading easier. The children use Fred fingers to help them to sound out words more easily. This means that children don't have to memorize long lists of spelling words, but instead use this tool to help them to be able to spell any word. So for example, if I ask the children to write the word mad, I'll say hold up 3 Fred fingers. I say 3 Fred fingers because the word contains 3 sounds. So for example, write the word mad. The children will hold the fingers facing themselves. They'll pinch the sounds m, a, d, mad, and write the corresponding grapheme. If I ask the children to write the word ship, I know that there are 3 sounds in the word ship. Sh, I, p, ship. the children will write the corresponding graphemes. In our school, the children read Read Write Ink storybooks to match the sounds that they have been practicing or reading. They read each Read Write Ink storybook 3 times in class with their partner over 3 days. Rereading the same book helps the children to become more confident readers. Each time they reread, they build their fluency, speed, and comprehension. They may be decoding on first read, but by the second and third read, they should be recognizing and reading some words quite speedily. They love reading and want to read because they read all of the words in their storybook. Special friends and Fred talk. Children will be able to read all of the words in their storybook. However, if the children hesitate, remind them to read using the words special friends and Fred talk. For example, this means when they spot the sh sound in a word, this is our special friend. That might be a digraph or a trigraph, 2 or 3 letters together that make one sound. When they Fred talk, they are saying the sounds aloud and then blending them together. For example, sh, I, p, ship. Red words. Some red words are tricky because they contain letters that do not match sounds that the children have been taught. For example, said has an AI, making it an E sound, ed. We teach these common exception words, which we call red words. In each storybook, these words are printed in red text. Remind your child not to use Fred talk to read red words, but instead to stop and think if they know what the word could be. Tell them the word if it is needed. Please go to Schoolbox to find the list of your red words. So, for our children, we can see that each week we send home phonics leveled reading books for your children. These are decodable books that the children will use to read. In addition, we'll also send home a PM leveled reading book. Those books may contain some more challenging words or red words which the children need to recognize and begin to build up a fluency of reading. It's really important that if your child is decoding the book on first reading, you continue to practice the book over the week so the child builds up a level of fluency and is no longer decoding the word because they're beginning to recognize the words by sight after practice. We had some common questions around reading, which I think would be valuable to share with you. Some of the questions included, how can I support my child at home in reading? Things like using our resources on Schoolbox to create flashcards at home is a nice interactive way where your child might enjoy learning their sounds and practicing at home with you. We've also shared our green words with you, so you might like to read our green word cards starting at 1.1 and moving upwards as the children grow in confidence. Initially, I would make sure that your child is secure, saying the sounds and blending them together. When your child is very confident doing this with words with single letter sounds and also special friends, then I would focus on building up a blank of words which the children recognize by sight. So once they're secure decoding or saying the sounds to blend, next they should recognize those words speedily. Following on from that, your children can be reading at home with you. Every night, try to include it as part of your bedtime routine, 5 to 10 minutes, where your child is reading their phonic reading book, their decodable book, or their PM leveled reading book to you. This is really important. As the child becomes more confident in reading, you'll see their fluency in reading that book increase over the week, where they're no longer needing to decode using their sounds, but can recognize many of the words. Another question is, I know that my child is struggling with some aspects of phonics. How do I know they're being supported appropriately in school? Several things that we do as part of the phonics scheme support this. By having regular assessments of the children, where we practice the sounds with them, we identify the children who maybe need a little additional support. We have interventions that we put in place. This is outside of the phonics time, so they're also getting their personalized phonics learning in their groups, but also they're getting more one-to-one time with either their class teacher or learning assistant or focused intervention groups at some period throughout the day. Additional adults across the school support with this, also within our grades. As we group the children, this is also really beneficial because it means that the children can have tailored lessons supported specifically for their level or their progress. Smaller groups help to personalize that learning for those children also. Finally, I'll leave you with this quote. Please remember that we all have the power to change the outcomes for our children. The more support we can give the children to make sure that they develop through their reading and writing skills means that those children can thrive in other aspects of their life also. By working together, we can make sure that we equip the children with these skills, and we're more than happy to share all of our resources with you. Please go to Schoolbox, where I've saved all of the resources that we discussed today. Those include our green words, our red words, our initial sounds, set 1, 2 and 3, and also our formation rhymes. So for example, we showed some really nice examples today of some of the children's writing within school. You can see that the children have a way in which they can form the letters. At the back of each of our speed sound cards, we have a mnemonic. This rhyme helps the children to remember how to write a letter. So for example, when the children write A, they write around the apple and down the leaf. If they're writing their S, they say slither down the snake. We practice these rhymes right from pre-K, and it helps the children to put in place the correct letter formation. If you see that your child is making some mistakes when they're forming their letters at home, please don't worry, just remind them of the rhyme that they need to use. Again, all of these useful tools can be found on Schoolbox. We hope you find them useful. If you need any additional support, please contact your class teacher or myself or Miss Abby, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you for your time today.